Hi again. This is the story of Ken's 1934 Buick Woody. It's a testament to what can be built out of practically nothing at all. Here's Ken.
I bought basically just the pieces. I bought the frame, the fenders, the hood, and the cowl. And that's all I got. There was no body, no doors, no drivetrain.
This car is now a Woody, but it didn't start out like that.
It was a sedan. Buick didn't start building Woodies till about 1940, and this is a 34.
Restoration took about 3 years, with Ken doing most of the work himself.
Yeah, all the wood came off our own property. I cut the trees down, and the doors are homemade, everything. The panels are walnut, the darker panels. The lighter wood is actually ash with an oak stain. So I cut the trees down. I've got a friend with a sawmill that cuts them up, and then I built a dryer to dry them, and I have a wood shop.
Ken started out with a frame, fenders, and cowl, nothing else. That's it. Absolutely everything had to be added by Ken. It was no easy task.
Well, it's got a 5.3 GM pickup engine with the 4-speed overdrive transmission. It's got cruise, power windows, all those good, air conditioning.
Even wood on the dash came from Ken's own trees. This was a ground-up build of a unique car.
The interior, the back seat's out of a Chrysler minivan. The front seats are out of an import, and they're covered with an imitation ostrich. But there was no ostriches killed to do the interior.
Here's Bob, and here's his story about his 1933 Chev 5-window coupe. I'm going to let Bob tell you his story without interruption.
There were probably 100 baskets of stuff, so we bought it. 9 years it took to do it. We built a new frame for it. It was in a basket when I brought it home, and we started with the frame and measured it up, put the body on the frame, and then I stripped a Celebrity car for the steering column and seats and wiring and all that stuff, and I started building. I got a V8 motor out of a Blazer, put it in, had a friend of mine, Dick Nussey, build me a grill for it. The person I bought it from had welded a big piece of steel in the roof. It was cloth, and he welded it, and it bent everything. So I had to cut the roof out. And that roof that's on that car is off a 66 Mustang. And it fit on there perfectly. Just had to weld it. All the curves and everything were perfect. So anyway, took all the wood out of it, because they're all wood. Put a whole new floor, and I put a steel frame all inside with 3/4 inch boxed tube, and built all that. And built doors. I had the outer door skins, and built all new doors with power windows and power door openers and all that stuff. It's good. The doors open automatically with just a push of a button. Under the hood is a 305, but it's been bored out 30 over, and it has high compression pistons in it. That has been ported and polished, made a little bit bigger. It's got just a mild cam in it, so I can go to every other gas station instead of every gas station. It runs like a charm. It's been on the road now 10 years. It's got 25,000 miles on it, and it hasn't skipped a beat. We haven't done one thing to it in 10 years. Not a thing. It just runs great. We can run it down 401 with the car all day at 70 miles an hour, listen to the radio, and be as comfortable as could be.
That's the story of Bob's 1933 Chevy. We all have dreams. Relentless dedication makes those dreams come true. Here's Kenny's story.
I wanted a 32 Ford so bad. I was buying subscriptions to every magazine known to kind, because in '95 there wasn't no real internet or search engines to find anything. It was in London, Ontario for sale, which is a 2-hour ride. I went and bought it.
This was a drag car.
London Auto Modifiers. It was their race car since 1948.
Here's how Kenny made something special out of nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah. No wheels, no tires, no suspension, no engine, nothing. and a few good friends helped me put things together, a couple body shops, and E&S Trim and Tops was the upholstery guy involved in it. He did the vinyl roof on the car, he did the glass, had everything cut, installed everything. The only thing I used from the drag car was the actual body shell with no floors or firewall. And I bought 2 frame rails in Detroit for $400, and the main K-member in the front for $35, and those were the parts I had to start with. The doors were on the car, the fenders weren't, so I had to outsource all the parts, every piece and part. The interior is all totally handmade. Stu at E&S Trim and Tops did all the stitching and forming all the panels.
And what about the engine?
Engine I bought from another friend. It's a big block Chevrolet, 468 cubic inch, 4,000 converter, 400 turbo transmission, 3-speed automatic with a 279 final ratio, so I can drive it on the highway. 75 mile an hour, about 2,600 RPM. So good cruiser all around. And the converter makes it real lively. If you want to jump on it and spin tires, you can do it at 60 mile an hour, no problem.
As restorers, we know that car dreams can come true.
Yeah, it's a special car for sure. It's all leather interior. Everything's finished in 18 or 24 karat gold that would be chrome. It's all gold plated, then clear coated. Shifter, keys, ignition, everything in there, all the gauges, door handles. Got the rumble seat. It has the cowl lights. So this car is very important. It's nicknamed the Little Deuce Coupe, which is well known by the Beach Boys and American Graffiti, and so it's always been my dream car. Yeah, it was a labor of love, lots of work.
Here's Jerry and his 1953 Chevy panel truck. Tell us what you had to do to put this panel truck in great shape.
Well, everything. There's not a part on this thing that isn't new. It's got a 350 with a 30 thou overbore Chevy small block. It's all new wheels and tires on it. It's got a 700R4 tranny with an overdrive. The whole rear end is brand new.
What about the body?
It was a rust bucket. It's got a brand new floor in it, brand new firewall. The rear fenders I got at a place that was called Bill's Truck Shop, and they were original stock, never installed fenders, which are really hard to find for this type of truck because they're not the same as the pickups.
And what about the interior?
The interior's got seats I got out of a wrecking yard, out of a Yukon. But other than that, the interior is basically the same as it was when it was manufactured. I tried to keep it looking as original as possible.
So, how do you turn a rusted Hulk into a trophy-winning custom car? But it's not easy, as a lot of you may know. Meet Mark. He's the guy with the vision to create this beautiful automobile. This is a 1955 Chevy 210 Handyman wagon.
This car was stored was in a barn for 20 years. I haven't had time to do any research on it, but it could have possibly been a race car at one time because the firewall was all pushed in so they could get a big block in it. Anyways, it was on the side of the road and I happened to see it and I bought it. And there was no floor in it. When I brought it home, my wife said, "What are you going to do with that pile of junk?" But I visualized the finished product. It's got all Corvette components in the suspension, brand new chassis, 396 big block, the mild cam, 700R4 with a mild shift kit, and Dana 44 rear end, the strong Corvette 4N rear end. I got vintage air, power windows, power seats. The seats are originally out of a 87 Monte Carlo. They were all redone. I'm not a body man, but I did a lot of the assembly. I did a lot of the interior work, door panels. I made my own console, all that.
The 396 engine turns out about 425 horse. The wheels are 22 inches on the back and 20 inches on the front. The chrome rims are by Coys. The dash has all digital instruments. The steering wheel is adjustable. The dash and all other interior trim is fitted out with polished billet aluminum. The chassis is custom made and comes from Vancouver. It has a great JVC sound system with a woofer. Here's something you may have noticed. The post on the side window has been replaced with a narrow strip, and the vent window has been removed. Mark says the idea was to give the illusion of the roof being chopped. This masterpiece of a wagon took more than 9 years to build. You know, some guys naturally find an old pickup in rough shape and see what it can become rather than what it is. Well, that's the case with Ron and his 1935 Chevy.
I found this car up in Owen Sound, and when I got the car, all I got was some sheet metal and a rusty old frame. All the construction of this car originally was nailed onto a wooden frame. The wood was all gone. The termites got the wood, so I had to construct a new frame from steel and then put the whole thing back together, and it's been a 10-year project. So
Ron has owned this hot rod for about 12 years. The engine started life as a 350 but has been bored and stroked out to 383. Like a lot of guys, Ron uses his hot rod as a daily summertime driver.
I just always love these old cars like this. The style from the 30s, you can't beat it.
Like so many others, childhood memories played a part in Tom building this Model A, with a little help from a lot of friends.
I always wanted a Model A. I had one when I was a kid, a little hot rod on the farm.
I like the license plate, and I asked how he found this car.
Well, my friend Roy Shank found it on eBay. It was in Chatham, just the shell. You know, no roof on it or nothing, just a plain old shell. So we picked that up and went from there.
This really was a ground-up build. The shell needed everything, including a frame.
Oh, I built the frame out of material out of Atlas tube in Harrow. It's 2x4, and then it's tapered at the front. Tony Frateroli helped me make the frame at the front so it fits Model A, all the Model A stuff. Like the fenders are supposed to fit on it, everything fits on it, but I just didn't put them on. I just put a 9-inch Ford rear end in it, positive traction, and I got an AOD automatic overdrive transmission with the 302, and it has a mild cam in it, just a 2-barrel. I just wanted good gas mileage, and just went from there. A friend of mine painted it, and he added a bit of sparkle to it, and that's why it looks, I'm happy with it.
So many friends had a hand in this car.
I had some glass for it that came with it, but I had a friend that has a glass company, and he made all the glass up new for me with a tinted. It's called smoke glass.
Nice looking wood dash and new gauges.
The dash is walnut. Another friend of mine, he's into woodworking, and he actually took 2 pieces of walnut and glued them together, and then I finished it, and I drilled it all out, put all the gauges in, and it worked out good.
And what about the seating?
It's all out of the neon. The bucket seats in the front are neon. The back seats neon. I just had to narrow the bottom part of the back seat because it was about 4 inches or 8 inches too wide.
Tom's a guy with a lot of friends. He says this car handles and rides like a dream on the highway. Among my favorite stories are those of rescue and restoration. Larry and I shared a few chuckles and had a good chat last September about his 1937 flatback Ford.
And it was a piece of junk when I brought it home. That was 30 years ago.
Larry wasn't kidding. It really was a piece of junk. He bought it 30 years ago, and restoration took 13 and a half years. So, what did he have to do to turn this to this?
Oh my God, everything. Right from the beginning. Frame. Oh, had to do everything. Cross members, axles, transmission, engine, body, glass, interior, the works.
As bad as it was, there was something he liked about this car.
Oh, I liked the shape of it. the rear seat, stuff like that.
As if that were enough to haul this thing home. However, everything about this car is now clean as a whistle.
The front buckets are Dodge Daytona, the small Daytonas they had back in the 80s. And the rear seat is original.
What a beautiful dash in this car. Looks like it has AC. The engine is a 350 30 over. Notice the battery mounted to the firewall. You know, it's only when you hear these stories of what it took to make these cars what they are today that one could appreciate their value. These are only a few of many local car stories. I'm sure it's the same in your club. Thanks for viewing. I hope you enjoyed.